Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pineapple Experience. My name is Justine Broker, and I have Kabrina Budwell here with me today to talk all things marketing and the joys of having your own business and the joys of getting to hire whoever you want. So please help me welcome her. And Kabrina, if you want to let us know a little bit about you and what you do.
So this whole journey started for me actually thinking that I was going to be the first female CEO of Disney. I used to train cast members at Disney and was really into the marketing pieces of that, and then ended up coming back to Colorado from California to get married and never quite made it back to California. So when we had our first oops baby, 7 months after we got married, we found out we were pregnant at Christmas, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not part of our plan. And so I ended up being the stay-at-home mom because, when you're young and first married, you're kind of poor. It's just kind of how we all do this thing.
Right.
And I started figuring out ways that I could work from home and didn't want to be selling stuff that wasn't mine. So I was like, well, I'll just do my own thing, which is very much that A personality person that I am. But now I own Kabrina Budwell Consulting. I have 4 little ones now. And my husband just started working for me this year.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So you worked at Disney. How interesting. And you did something to help the deaf, correct? Is that what I remember reading?
Yeah. So I used to actually teach American Sign Language. And so I would work with a lot of people with apraxia, people that were deaf. I always thought that I'd marry somebody who was deaf because I was so engulfed in that community growing up. So I actually trained cast members at Disney how to deal with people with autism who are deaf. If you have a meltdown in the middle of the park and you're an adult, what to do and how they're not people that you should be afraid of, but people that need different kinds of care than everybody else.
Right. Oh, I love that. So be honest, how was it working with your husband?
At first, I kind of regretted the decision. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? And then I was like, this is just like if I hired anybody else on. I would sit there and have regrets. And because I wanted him, because he had been so close to the business and knew what I did all the time, to know it right then. And I think that was when there wasn't as much grace given at first, because I was like, you should just know how to do this. But definitely as he started taking things off of my plate, and I was able to say, here's this whole entire chunk, here's this whole entire account. I don't even have to look at them. I don't have to think about them. I just get to see the invoice come in when they've paid it. And it's amazing to be able to be at that point, because there was a time in there where I was so maxed out, I wasn't sure how I was going to get to the next level, because, you hear once you get to your 10K month, then it's all up in the air from there. And it's not true. You get to 10K and you still have the same struggles that you had before you got to 10K. And so we learned that the hard way. And we were like, oh, okay, well, how do we get past that now? And so we got to kind of go on that journey together. And as we grow, it's interesting to see, you still have those, do I hire on another person? Do I not hire on another person? Are we good where we are? And
right. It's
just like making any other life decision. It's just, you're pulling other people into your life.
Right. That's so. And even like you and I were talking before we went live, and the fear and how uncomfortable it is to hand things off to others.
Yeah.
When you have had such a high standard. It's almost like these people have big shoes to fill, right? And our clients, they're everything. I mean, we never want them disappointed or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So kudos to you for having that trust to kind of let go of that. It's not easy. I still struggle.
Yeah. Well, and what we had to realize is that the business is not my baby. It's a machine. And if there was definitely pieces of the machine that I was, bandaging, because I was doing all of it. So I didn't realize that there was insufficiencies until I started handing stuff over. So even now I still find little things here and there where I'm like, okay, can we automate this? Can we outsource this? Do we even need to be doing this? Because, you know, a lot of times we do stuff just because we see other people in the industry do it. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm going to start doing that. And then there's no time or space or anything for it and other things. It's that idea of what's a glass ball and what's a bouncy ball. It's like sometimes you got to let some stuff drop, and the bouncy balls are the ones you need to pick.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's almost like you have to miss a bunch before you, you know, in order to even like scale, like you said, you bring these things on that you think you have to do until you're like, I can't, and we're still going forward. So we have to get creative, and it's stressful. It's not easy being an entrepreneur.
Well, and we realized that when my youngest was born, because she decided to come at 33 weeks. So we were not even close to ready for her.
Mama.
And my husband had just lost his job. And we were like, okay, what are we going to do? And I'm telling you, I hadn't hired anybody on. I didn't think I was ever going to. And 6 hours after I gave birth, I was on the phone with a client to make sure that things kept running in our lives. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is crazy. Like, a team, no matter how much it scares you to get one, is so necessary if you're going to want to grow, because you'll get capped at a certain point, whether that's 10,000 a month, 25,000 a month, you're going to get capped somewhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's dive into what you do. What does your agency, I know your emails, bots, there was something that you said that I'm missing it. It's on the tip of my tongue. That's quizzes.
Yes. We do quiz creation. Yeah. I love quizzes. One, because I'm obsessed with birth order and personality tests and all of that. And just generational studies in general. And so a lot of what comes out of that is we all want to know more about ourselves. And so we tend to find ways to figure that out. Even if that's a BuzzFeed quiz that says, what kind of tractor are you? We'll take it because we're curious and we want to know how do they know what tractor I am, even though normally you'd never ask yourself that question. So we build quizzes to help entrepreneurs and businesses that are service-based figure out who their main target is and then funnel them into different buckets. So instead of this normal thing, I call it sex to sales. So it's like when you get into somebody's email list and they're like, oh my gosh, you're here, buy this. It's like being asked to have sex before you've even gone out on a first date. It's gross. And then people don't understand why they have terrible open rates and they don't get opened after the first couple emails that they send out. So what I love about the quiz is that it gives you that know, like, and trust from them taking it, you understanding who they are because they've already told you exactly who they are through the questions that they've answered. And then you're able to give them a nurture sequence that talks all about them and then how you can help them in between that before you get to the sale. But you know exactly what they're ready to buy.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I have never seen anyone use quizzes before.
Yeah, it's very uncommon. It's just like Facebook bots. Only about 3% of business owners are using them. And it amazes me because there's so much you can do with them, especially if you go out and speak or if you are, in a summit or anything like that. People can get into your quiz. They can get into your Facebook bot. And you can nurture them in different ways. Obviously, our saying is, he who hath the most emails wins. And it's true because as long as you're keeping your list clean and really giving them value and talking to them, that's going to be your number one way, because obviously software can go away and Facebook could go down tomorrow and we wouldn't know what to do. So having people in your own territory is the best, but then being able to touch them in different areas. It's like if you got the same birthday present every single year, it would kind of start to get boring. But we get to sprinkle in other things. through our marketing and how we do stuff. Just like with, TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, we all like them for different reasons, but we're all on all of them. It's not like they're all the same.
Right. Totally. I love that because I'm really big on, I don't treat client A the same as I treat client B. I don't ask client A the same questions I ask client B. Everyone is so unique. I love human design. Like I love human design.
You would love quizzes then. You're going to get really into it.
Quizzes. I would love quizzes. I'm like, I was reading through your questionnaire you filled out for me, and I'm like, quizzes? What? That is so cool because like a lot of times I don't know how to nurture someone who I've never, like a cold lead off of. I have my website linked from TikTok. So that's where a lot of my leads come in. And yes, they know me from TikTok, but I'm not selling on TikTok. I'm Justine on TikTok. So when they come in, they already have that almost know and trust, but I struggle with knowing like, okay, when do you transition to offering a service or whatever it may be?
Yeah. Well, and our rule of thumb is 8 emails, so about 2 months. And the reason for that is because you don't want to scare people away from what you're offering because, we're so inundated with the Facebook messages of, hey, girl. And you're like, oh my gosh, look, another offer for whatever it is. And people think that this is a really good way to, get into people's DMs and try and get them to buy right then. And all these pressure sales that everybody knows that they don't feel right. But they do it because that's what we've been taught for years. Even in the mainstream marketing, there's a lot of bigger names that are like, DMs, getting in people's faces. And, it just doesn't work that way because people they don't want to buy from you. They want to know how you're going to help them. And that's what makes them buy.
Right. Sell yourself first. That's why I think brand is so important too.
Yes.
It's not, when I was doing network marketing, I did it for 2.5 years and was very, very successful in it. But I was the, send 80 DMs a day. That I hate to say it, but it was me. But I was making almost $40,000 in downline sales with my team a month while working full time. So it works, but the people didn't come back.
Yeah.
It was when I focused on giving them the best experience possible. That's why I love like the word experience. I think it's just so, I just love that word because if you give someone a good experience, you better believe that they're going to come back for more. It's about you and how you approach them and how you make them feel being in your space. Yeah,
it's like the idea of In-N-Out's coming to Colorado, and everybody is freaking out about it because they've had such a good experience there. They want that particular brand. And now that it's here, they're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. And, they open one up and the line's 8 hours long. It's like when Krispy Kreme comes to some place that's not the South. Everybody freaked out. And you're like, how do these brands get to be such household names? It's like if you go to Disneyland, you're going to keep going, even if you've been on every ride 6 billion times, because it makes you feel nostalgic to be there.
Totally. Oh my gosh. I just love, I get really scared of the word strategy. I try not to use it. And I've also noticed my clients, if strategy comes up, they're like, oh, like, and I can see the way you talk that your marketing isn't a strategy. It's more of get to know the people and nurture the relationship. So I really want to applaud that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So we actually, as a whole marketing agency, have decided to throw the idea of a funnel out the door. And I am that person who's like, funnels belong in the kitchen and that's where they should stay, is in the drawer.
Yeah.
And the reason is because the idea of a funnel is you're thinking of something that looks like this, and people are coming in, but not all of them are getting out the bottom. So what's happening to all those people that it's called a leaky funnel is what the newer terminology for it is. But that means that all these people are coming out the sides, and you're losing tons of people that originally were interested based on trying to sell them one thing, and that whole one size fits all thing that doesn't actually work in real life. So what we have created is actually a roadmap. And so you take people on a journey instead of trying to funnel them to death. So, you know, somebody might stop at one destination for 24 hours and just sleep and move on to the next thing. Great. Other people might want to go there and sightsee. And it's okay to leave them there and just keep nurturing them until they're ready to move to the next place.
Right. Oh my gosh. I'm probably going to have to talk with you, Kabrina, because like my human design too, the coach I work with, Amanda King, she really like coaches us based on our human design. And she was telling me, because I get so frustrated because I just want to help. And there's, you know, it's my personality where I like smother, like, come here, I want to love you up, you know, and people are like, whoa, you got to like back up a little bit because I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
So having something like that, and then there's people who are like, yes, I want your love right now, you know, like, so that's really, so when someone, I don't know, do you call them landing pages? Like, how does someone enter your journey?
Yeah, so people would come in through a landing page or a form. So you've got a couple different ways. So if you're using a quiz or a bot, that's how they would come into your journey, because obviously you're going to be getting their email there. But primarily for most people, it's a form or a landing page that they're coming into. And then they're getting some kind of free offer. They're getting a freebie. Then they're getting to see a thank you page that has you talking about it. And I think that that's a piece that most people leave out because they're like, I don't want to make another video. I don't want to do another thing. I just want to do the thank you message and leave it alone.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing that I've seen help conversions so much is because even if you decide to skip the tripwire, just give a video saying, hey, here's who I am. I'm so glad that you're here, and just welcoming them in. We always tell people that your form or your landing page, however people are getting into your email list, is like the door. It's either they're opening the door by themselves and they're going into a construction site, which is what it seems like when you just have the regular pop-ups that are generic, or you're actually walking into your house and you're saying, hey, you know, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Right. Yeah. And I'm even just, as you're talking, I'm thinking about emails that I've sent out. And the ones that are opened are the ones that I almost write like a blog. You know, like when I'm sharing an experience or a lesson I learned or whatever it may be. And I really don't even put that much thought or strategy into them, but those are the ones, because it probably gives off the vibration of such, you know, like, no, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm here to serve. And so I've never thought about like nurturing after, like putting a video after they get the freebie. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, well, and there's so many things that you can do. It's just even simple things like a GIF of how to drag from promotions in Gmail over to your inbox, because then that automatically lists your email to that sender. And so you're going to want to make sure that people are doing that so that, one, that they're getting the information that they signed up for, and two, that's telling Google that you're a good person. And obviously you can't do this with all of the different senders, but because there's billions of people that use Gmail, it makes sense to make that your primary one to focus on, because we're all like, oh my gosh, did I end up in spam? Did I end up in promotions? And sometimes you can't help that. No matter how hard you try, half of your things will end up in promotions, half of them will end up in the inbox. And there's no way for any email marketing service to help you with that.
Right. Oh, so good. So, so good.
Thanks.
I just, yeah, I definitely, if anyone watching this, and Kabrina, I have to be completely honest, my platform flopped and we are streaming to YouTube right now, but I'm going to do a watch party onto Facebook.
Sounds perfect. Stuff happens.
Every dang time. I swear the universe is like, you want to do these, Justine? Well, I'm going to throw every single wrench your way. But anyone watching this, if you're struggling with marketing, here, I mean, I feel like you could even help network marketers get out of that cold message. Like I did health and wellness. And so I was really good with like helping people with accountability to start working out, finding something that works for them, loving their body for where it's at instead of like focusing on the six pack. And I feel like a lot of network marketers miss that piece. Why do you love the product that you promote? Why do you want to represent this company? And so, I mean, I think you could help so many people. So I got to get this out to the masses. I'm sorry that this flopped again, but
okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do a watch party after this into everywhere. But where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can go and find me. I hang out mostly on Instagram at Email Marketing Guru. But you can also find me at KabrinaBudwell.com, where we are in the process of getting a lot of really good information ready for the new year. So really focusing on what does 2021 look like now that people have kind of gone back to depending on email because there isn't any in-person events. There isn't any networking. We keep going on this up and down, can I be with people roller coaster that is really hard for all of us extroverts out here. We're like, okay, we want to be grouped together and really close to people because that's what I need.
Right. Yeah. Well, awesome. I'm going to put those, your website in the notes, what are they called? You know what I mean? The description. And so if anyone is looking for someone to talk marketing and help you, I know I'll be reaching out here. So
no, we can exchange right email and TikTok. TikTok through email or email through TikTok.
Yeah, totally. It's amazing. Like I have a client and she also owns a marketing agency and she's just so creative. She almost trolls the trolls on TikTok. That's her niche. Yeah. So it's like you just kind of find that thing that works for you and then you take off and it just kind of all works out itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely, my inbox is always open. I'd love to help you get started.
Okay, definitely. We'll look into that.
Yes. All right. So thank you so much for being here today. And I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I know this is like the week of thankful, so it's good.
It's perfect. It's perfect. So thanks again, and I will be talking to you soon.
Hey, have a good night.
All right. You too.